Hi, my name is Ndaba and I recently turned 30. Looking back at my 20s, I think there was a lot of good things that I did. Some brilliant choices were made, but some choices not so brilliant. So, as a point of wisdom to those who may be younger and are watching this, also as a point of reflection of those who are 30 plus, here are 6 regrets of my 20s. My first regret is procrastination. Looking back, when I was in college, I used to be part of that notorious gang. You know the gang who submit assignments 2 minutes before they are due? I was that guy. And as much as it was cool doing it back then, and I would always try to excuse myself and say I work well under pressure, that was a bad habit. Years later, I have found myself delaying on client work, submitting some client work late, and that is definitely not good. That has definitely impacted my reputation, my business reputation. And it has also impacted my decision-making skills. So looking back, I think there are some things that I could have achieved way earlier had I not procrastinated. So definitely, if I look back at my 20s and I look back at things that I regret, procrastination is definitely on top of that list. The second thing is relationships. Now, this could be business or romantic relationships. I think I spent a lot of time trying to pursue romantic relationships that did not work out. Now, it was a noble pursuit, but I think I should have used my energy and my time on something else. But not only that, I think I was also a little bit toxic. I think there's things that I should have done better. I should have been less selfish. I should have been more open. I should have been more reliable. I should have been more honest. So looking back, definitely I do regret not putting my 100 into some relationships, and relationships are part of my 20s regrets. The third thing is money. You know what Biggie says? More money, more problems. Lies. Less money, more problems. Looking back at my 20s, I think I should have concentrated on making money instead of pursuing other things like relationships, like I just mentioned. I think I should have given my energy into making money so that when I am older, I have enough for myself. Now, it's definitely not too late for that. There is no timeline for these things. But just looking back, I had a whole lot of opportunities that I did not use very well. But I also think I should have managed the money that I got a little better. I should have done that. I should have put my money into things like crypto. I should have put my money into stocks. And maybe now I would be a billionaire. Who knows? But also spending money. I think when I started to get money, I think I wasted a lot of money on things that I don't even remember. I should have spent it more on experiences, on causes, and people that I care about. So looking back, how I spent my money is part of my regrets. Another regret is definitely learning. You see, when you're young, you have energy and you have time, but also you learn things fast. Looking back now, I think I should have used my 20s to learn as much as I could. Just think of it this way. From the time I was 20, if I had dedicated each year of my 20s into a certain skill set, I would have had a whole bunch of knowledge in the things that I would want to be a pro at. So imagine first year learning video editing, second year learning Python, third year learning analytics. By now, I should have definitely been somewhere had I used my time and dedicated it to learning. The other regret of my 20s is discipline. You see, nobody becomes successful at anything unless they are disciplined. And most of us, with the problems that we have, we actually know the solutions. We're just not disciplined enough to pursue them. So looking back, if I was disciplined in how I ate, disciplined in how I worked out, disciplined in my reading, disciplined in putting in time for friends and people who matter in my life, I would have been somewhere. As I said, I think most of us know what we need to do. We're just not consistent in the pursuit of that solution. So looking back at my 20s, I definitely regret not being disciplined enough. The other regret of my 20s would have to be identity. Knowing who I am, knowing my story. Because the moment you know your identity, you don't listen to what people say. You don't care what people say because you know who you are, you know what your strengths are, you know what your destiny is, you know what you're supposed to do to get to that. And you don't listen to haters, you don't listen to distractors, you don't listen to discouragers. So looking back, I should have known myself. I should have been more confident in embracing who I am, in embracing my story. I think from like a very young age, I always knew that I was a storyteller. And along the way, I attempted to do YouTube videos, start a podcast here, did some like public speaking, and it was kind of working, but I never fully pursued that. Sometimes because of fear, sometimes because I was thinking, what would people say? Sometimes because I was afraid I would be broke, all sorts of silly reasons. Looking back at my 20s now, I wish I had pursued those dreams because that makes a part of who I am. And whether those things work out or not, what matters is that you've done what you feel you're called to do. So looking back, that's definitely a regret of mine. Now, let me just say this. I'm not recording this video to just like feel petty and cry. I'm not really that type of guy. I'm recording this video because there is always a second chance. And turning 30 for me is definitely that second chance. So this is what I have resolved to do. Instead of just complaining about the things that I regret, I want to work on those things. Hence recording this video. Recording this type of video for me is a chance to be consistent at my art, to embrace my story, and to learn. So I'd like for you to help me out by liking this video, sharing it, and subscribing to this channel. There will be so many things I'll be attempting along the way, and I'd like to learn along with you. So thank you for watching, and it's never too late to restart your life.